Week 6 of pregnancy, your baby's heart, brain, and tiny body begin to take. What if I told you that, right now, inside your body, a tiny life is changing faster than you can imagine? Your baby is still incredibly small, about the size of a lentil. But inside that tiny embryo, something extraordinary is happening. The brain is growing rapidly. The early heart is developing. Tiny arm and leg buds are beginning to appear. The face is starting to take shape. And your body is working around the clock to create the perfect environment for this remarkable journey. You may not be able to feel your baby moving yet. You may not even feel very different from the outside. But inside, week 6 is one of the busiest chapters of early pregnancy. So what exactly is happening to your baby this week? And what changes might you notice in your own body? Let's take a closer look. Chapter 1, Baby at Week 6 at around 6 weeks of pregnancy. Your baby is still called an embryo. The embryo is tiny, but its development is happening at an incredible speed. The head region is becoming more prominent as the brain develops rapidly. The neural tube continues developing into the brain and spinal cord. This structure will eventually become the central communication system of the entire body. Think about everything your nervous system will eventually control: movement, sensation, memory, learning, breathing, and countless other functions. The foundation for this incredibly complicated system is already being established during these very early weeks. At the same time, cells throughout the embryo are continuing to divide and specialize. Some will eventually become muscles. Others will become bones. Others will become organs, blood vessels, skin, and connective tissue. From this tiny group of cells, an entire human body is being built. Chapter 2, The Developing Heart. Now let's talk about one of the most exciting developments of week 6, the heart. The heart begins as a very simple structure. It doesn't look anything like the heart you know. There are no 4 fully developed chambers yet. Instead, specialized cells are organizing into an early heart structure. As development continues, this structure changes shape and becomes increasingly complex. Early rhythmic contractions may already be occurring around this stage. However, it's important to understand that the exact timing of detectable cardiac activity varies, and an ultrasound does not always show or detect it at exactly the same point in every pregnancy. That means if an early ultrasound does not show cardiac activity, it does not automatically mean something is wrong. Your healthcare provider may recommend another ultrasound depending on your dates and individual circumstances. But inside the embryo, the cardiovascular system is already beginning its extraordinary journey. Tiny blood vessels are developing. The early heart is becoming more organized. And soon, this system will become the transportation network that carries oxygen and nutrients throughout your baby's growing body. Chapter 3, Tiny Arms and Legs. Now, look closely at what's happening to your baby's body shape. Small protrusions are beginning to appear from the sides of the embryo. These are called limb buds. They will eventually develop into your baby's arms and legs. At this stage, they are extremely small. There are no recognizable fingers or toes yet. But the basic foundation is already being established. Over the coming weeks, these limb buds will grow longer. Joints will develop. Hands and feet will become more defined. And eventually, individual fingers and toes will appear. It's difficult to imagine that the tiny structures forming this week will eventually become the hands that may one day hold your finger. But that journey has already begun. Chapter 4, Your baby's face begins to form. Another fascinating transformation is happening in your baby's face. Structures that will eventually become the eyes are beginning to develop. The early structures of the ears are also forming. The developing face is still extremely simple, but its basic organization is beginning. The nose and mouth will continue developing over the coming weeks. Every day, the embryo becomes slightly more recognizable. And this is one of the most beautiful things about watching pregnancy develop week by week. You can almost see the human form emerging from a microscopic beginning. Chapter 5. What is happening to mom? While your baby is growing rapidly, your body is changing too. For many women, pregnancy symptoms become more noticeable around week 6. You may feel unusually tired. You may wake up feeling exhausted even after a full night's sleep. You might experience nausea. Despite the name, morning sickness, nausea can happen at any time of day. Certain smells may suddenly become overwhelming. Foods you once enjoyed may suddenly make you feel sick. You may also notice tender breasts, bloating, mild cramping, frequent urination, or mood changes. Why is this happening? Pregnancy hormones are rising rapidly. Your body is adjusting to support the pregnancy. Your uterus is preparing for continued growth. Your blood volume and circulation will gradually change, and your metabolism is adapting to new demands. All of these changes require energy. That's one reason fatigue can be so intense during early pregnancy. Chapter 6. Food and nutrition. During this stage, nutrition becomes especially important. Your baby is developing rapidly, so try to provide your body with a variety of nutrients. Choose fruits and vegetables. Eat whole grains. Include protein-rich foods such as eggs, beans, fish that are considered safe during pregnancy, poultry, or other appropriate protein sources. Healthy fats are also important. And don't forget hydration. If nausea makes eating difficult, smaller and more frequent meals may be easier for some people. A prenatal vitamin is also commonly recommended during pregnancy. Folic acid is particularly important during early development because it supports normal neural tube development. Talk with your healthcare provider about the prenatal vitamin and dosage that are right for you. Chapter 7. What to avoid. Pregnancy is also a time to be careful about substances that may affect your developing baby. Avoid smoking and recreational drugs. Avoid alcohol during pregnancy. And don't assume that every medication, supplement, or herbal product is automatically safe. Before taking a medication or supplement, ask your healthcare provider. Even products labeled natural can have effects during pregnancy. When you are unsure, getting professional advice is always the safest choice. Chapter 8. When to medical care. Many early pregnancy symptoms are completely normal, but some symptoms require medical attention. Contact your healthcare provider if you experience heavy vaginal bleeding, severe or persistent abdominal or pelvic pain, fainting, a high fever, or severe vomiting that prevents you from keeping fluids down. If you ever feel that something is seriously wrong, don't wait for symptoms to become worse. Seek appropriate medical care. And remember, online pregnancy information can be helpful for education, but it cannot replace personalized medical advice from your healthcare provider. Chapter 9. An important reminder. One of the most important things to remember during week 6 is this: every pregnancy is different. Some women have severe nausea. Some have almost none. Some feel exhausted. Others continue their normal routine. Some women notice symptoms very early. Others don't feel much different for several more weeks. Symptoms alone cannot tell you exactly how your pregnancy is progressing. Your healthcare provider, prenatal appointments, blood tests, and ultrasound when appropriate provide much more reliable information. So don't compare your pregnancy too closely with someone else's. Your journey is your own. Closing week Choi may look small on a calendar, but inside your body, it is enormous. Your baby's brain is developing rapidly. The early heart is becoming more organized. Tiny blood vessels are forming. Arm and leg buds are appearing. The earliest facial structures are taking shape. And your body is changing every day to support this incredible process. But we are only getting started. Next, in week Shat, your baby's brain will continue developing rapidly, the body will begin changing shape, and the tiny arms and legs will become more defined. The embryo may still be incredibly small, but the story of your baby's development is becoming more amazing every single week. If you want to follow this journey from the earliest weeks all the way through birth, stay with US. This is Pregnancy Week by Week, your baby's amazing journey. 1 week, 1 milestone, one incredible story at a time. Thank you for watching.